The fact is the war on Christmas is real, but Bill, it's a part of a larger war against Christianity that's being waged around the world. And yeah, it's true, we are not suffering in the same way as Christians who are being martyred in other countries, not yet anyway, but make no mistake about it, this is all part of the same war, and we've got to push back against it on every front.
Well, I don't understand that statement, because overseas primarily it's Muslim fanatics, jihadists, who are killing and persecuting Christians. But here in the United States, who do you think is behind the movement to diminish Christianity?
Well, I think ultimately, Bill, as a Christian, I believe that it is the kingdom of darkness of Satan who from the beginning
But who does he...
Could it be Satan?
What I'm about to teach you is going to surprise the socks off of you. Who was St. Nicholas? I'm about to show you who it really is, and it's going to shock you. Nick is a name for the devil.
Could it be Satan?
St. Nick is another name for Satan.
Satan!
Satan?
Satan!
St. Nick ain't no saint, is he? He's Satan Nick.
Satan!
This Santa Claus, or is it Satan Claus? That word Santa looks a lot like the word Satan. All you have to do is take the N out and put it on the end, and you've got Satan. Who is Santa Claus? He's the devil. It's the devil. Devil! He's the devil! The devil! Devil! He's the devil.
Could it be Satan?
Satan!
Satan!
Satan is Santa Claus. He loves to put children in hell. Ho, 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 ho! Ho, ho, ho! He knows if you've been good or bad. Santa Claus, you sit on a throne of lies. Ho, 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 ho! Liar! I want nothing to do with Satan Claus.
Could it be
Satan?
Satan!
Satan! So there it is. Hope you enjoyed this message. Yes!
Hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Live from the Hive. I'm your host, Bree. It is Saturday morning, and my camera's all wonky. I was doing like bug stuff and recording it, so if you want to know why I'm wonky, I'm just a wonky kind of gal in general, and I will tell you that right away. And sorry for the delay. I'm popping in here. I was over here in my OBS trying to figure out why my live chat wasn't working. Oh, I just had to hit refresh. There it is. There you all are. So I do want to say hi to everybody this morning. Al Trucker popped in bright early, brand spanking new to the day. At 9 a.m. and said, oh, I got a half an hour left before the show starts. That's okay, Al. We always love our early birds. Speaking of, Greg Hartwick, when the mornings Greg can make it, he makes it early, and he sticks around for most of the show. Sumami popping in. saying cello as she do. And then we got our Savage Minnow. You just giving us some peepers. It looks like she's probably working on something in the side, on the side while she's listening. Hope you're having a great morning there, Savage. GOC, Now, GeoSam pops in sometimes, and I'm always happy to see you in the community. I did see you over at Sammy's thing for Addie. That was nice to see you involved in that. Hope Sammy, Addie, and the whole family down there are doing well. And we've got John Hudson. Good to see you, John. One of our regulars that's also often doing stuff in the background while he listens. It's good to have you here. All right, now Captive Desk has showed up. Good morning, Dave. And I have a proposition for a show for you, Dave. Let me know if you'd like to do some Bigfoot type collab. It's not like cryptozoology or anything though, so it's pop culture stuff. So let me know. I'd love to get you involved in it. Maybe you and Nikki. Anyway, let's see. It is the week before Christmas this week. Yeah, next week, Monday is the 18th through the 22nd, and then Friday, so it's going to be a holiday week. Now, Christmas is on a Monday this year, which is fine, but I'm just trying to visualize my plans for the coming weeks. From what I understand, I may actually have like a special guest in-house at some point, so that'll be wicked cool. I haven't actually had somebody here before. I did get some new bugs. If you missed my unboxing video, I don't know, one of my mods can maybe drop that in the side chat. But I did get, 2 little tiny scorpions. They're little baby scorpions. They're not going to get huge, but they should get, about the size of a $50. They're babies right now. They're but I got some glow spot roaches and some orange spotted roaches. So the orange spotted ones kind of look like reverse ladybugs, and the glow spot ones glow in the freaking dark. And of course, my pseudo Christmas gift of a Goliath bird eater. So I have my Goliath bird eater right here. It's a baby right now. But it's fast. And it's been paddling all over the walls with its dirty feet. So I need to wipe the walls off. I'm not going to keep it in that vivarium. That's a temporary thing until I get at least one molt out of it. And then we'll move it into something more substantial. Right now it's so skinny. So that's Robbie's kid has been asking for scorpions. I told Robbie that I had some wee baby scorpions that are super cute, and I think Elena might like them. He didn't say anything back yet, but scorpions are cool, and she can feed them crickets and stuff and watch the life cycle. That would be super cool. All right, well, as you saw from the intro crawl, we're going to be talking about Mothman, and there's a lot of preambles to that. So I'm going to leave that off for Cryptic Corner, though, and I'll see you guys over there in just 2 shakes for after the intro, okay? All right, I'll see you over there. Oops. Ah, what a fun way to start the show. Let's take it from the top. All right. Thank you guys. Sorry about that. All right. I'll pop in. Hello, and welcome once again to Cryptic Corner, where we take a look at the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I am your host, Miss Bumblebee, and today is a very special day because this episode of Cryptic Corner is taking place and being recorded on December 16th. So right now in 1967, there were still rescue crews working long hours pulling people and bodies from the Ohio River, where the Silver Bridge connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Gallipolis, Ohio. I think that's how you pronounce that. Oh, well, thank you, John. You're such a sweetheart. And the bridge was called the Silver Bridge colloquially. It was named the Point Pleasant Bridge, but they called it the Silver Bridge because it was painted with this aluminum color that made it sparkle in the sunlight. Well, it collapsed. 46 dead. It's still the biggest bridge accident in U.S. history, as far as I'm aware. I think there may have been one in Minnesota that was fairly bad, but this one is also famous for being the last time Mothman was sighted in the initial original 1966 through 67 reportings from the Point Pleasant area, from the TNT area. So it's an anniversary episode. Often when I think about Mothman and the end to Mothman's reign, often ends in my brain with Christmas presents floating down a icy river. Just visualize that. Sometimes visualizing headlights shining up from the depths of the river while Christmas presents float over. It's a pretty gruesome thing to imagine, because it was people. A lot of the traffic, I guess, that was on the bridge at the time was people holiday shopping. What day of the week was that? I didn't even check that. December 15th. 1967 calendar. It was a Friday. So yeah, you think about it, like Friday night, people get off work. It's the last Friday. If you look at it, with Friday being the 15th, that would have put Christmas. That would have been like the same as this. Yeah, their calendar would have matched up with ours this year. So we have like the same layout. We're running out of shopping days. Like this would have been the same as if it happened yesterday. So yeah. Okay, so I mean, now that we've got that out of the way, we kind of understand what we're dealing with Mothman. I had a hard time picking out which video to use to cover Mothman, because Mothman is like my favorite. Yeah, I've got my Mothman t-shirt right now. See? I love Mothman. I made my Mothman slideshow. So somebody bring in Mothman videos to me. They better be swinging hard. Let's see. So this is what I found. And let me grab it and pull it up here. No, don't. I want the full screen one. There we go. It was going to pull up the little one. Here we are. So this is from a channel called Think Anomalous, and it's got 55.5k subscribers. They seem like a decent channel. They're not like woo-woo believer channel or anything. I tried to find one that was taking Mothman, that was believing the hardest in Mothman. Usually I try to find the channel with the most anecdotal beliefs to me, but there actually aren't a lot of people out there left that still believe the Mothman myth. So there is some conspiracies and stuff that I wanted to talk about too. So stick with me, and we're gonna go into it. Oh, let's start from the beginning.
Today, the so-called Mothman, a humanoid monster with red eyes and big bird-like wings, is a fixture of paranormal horror, immortalized in film. But though it has since slid into the realm of fiction, the Mothman was first based on a well-documented wave of sightings in the northeastern United States between November 1966 and December 1967. These sightings coincided with a range of other anomalous phenomena far stranger than anything portrayed in the movie adaptation.
Yeah, so there's a lot of UFO activity and Men in Black activity and stuff like that goes along as well. What's that, John Hudson? 10 days prior to Xmas. That's correct. Moth woman, Mothman. I want to be Moth woman. I want to spin my little cocoon up in the corner of my room. I even have the corner picked out. And I'll come out with my butterfly wings, or my moth wings, and fly off to find my Mothman. And then we'll have a little moth family. It'll be adorable. And you're all invited to become moth people too.
The sheer volume of these reports, as well as their coincidence in time and space, make the Year of the Mothman one of the most fascinating and perplexing case studies in anomalous history. In November 1966, there began a wave of
a lot of times you'll have people lay some groundwork and talk about sightings from like the 17th century and stuff that don't really have anything to do with Mothman or at all. It's kind of sad that this person didn't try to tie in some of the other aspects of the area. There's the curse of Chief Cornstalk. It doesn't get any kind of exposure at all during this documentary. At least not as far as I saw. I watched in about 16 minutes of it before deciding this was the one I was going to go with.
Anomalous activity across the northeastern United States, manifesting primarily in West Virginia and the northern Ohio River Valley.
Ooh, let's see if we can figure out what... So there's lots of UFO sightings between... as the Ohio River flows between Pittsburgh and the influx of the Mississippi, and impacts Louisville, Cincinnati, Evansville, and kind of surprised they don't got Memphis lit up on here. It's a weird map. Oh yeah, it is. Memphis is way further down than I was thinking. There it is. I was thinking Memphis was up here for some reason, up by the boot heel. But I wonder if the Kelly Hopkinsville goblins are on this stretch. I wonder about the Loveland frogs being along this stretch. And I wonder about the Flatwood monster being along this stretch. So, I know for a fact that the Beast of Busco is not, because he's up here by Fort Wayne. Anyway, let's continue on.
The small town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, situated at the confluence of the Ohio and Kanawha rivers, was a particular hotspot, as was the McClintock Wildlife Nature Preserve just a few miles north. The first of the so-called Mothman sightings.
Okay, so let's talk about maps real quick, because I think that this can be clearer. Oh, let's get out of here. You guys get to hear me say "ope" every day, don't you? Every Saturday, I'm oping away. So here's the TNT area. This whole stretch right here is Point Pleasant. It's not just this down here. It's from here, from the river, all the way up to here. Is the city, is within city limits. This is Gallipolis. And then you got Henderson across the way here. Little bitty town. Itty bitty town. But Point Pleasant, yeah. Then the TNT area is up here. And as you can see, I got a heart on it because me and my little fluffy friend are going to have to visit this place someday. Let me catch up with the chat while I'm muted. Or while I'm paused. Not muted. Hope I'm not muted. I can get down with a cocoon as long as I come out of it prettier. That's my goal. I got to get prettier and prettier in my cocoon. My cocoon's probably actually going to end up being bandages all over my face. But, yeah. The product brings me here. Bree, Fab Personality keeps me here. Oh, you're so sweet. I've been cocooning for too long. Yeah, but you're freaking beautiful, Mommy. I'll tell you right now. You're a beautiful gal. All I know is that the Mississippi Delta is shining like the national guitar. Oh, okay. Mississippi Delta? Down by Louisiana, born on a bayou. What we need here is a map of all the known cryptid dwelling spots. And, oh, yeah, actually, you will find that my maps are of cryptid dwelling places. That's my maniacal laugh. So we do have Loveland, Ohio on this stretch. There's the TNT domes. And this is the Flatwood Monster, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, so we do have a map of, yep, of cryptid dwelling spots. There's the Beast of Busco way up here. Tracked down by its longitude and latitude to find that lake. Yeah, that was hard to do, but yep, right here is our Mothman dwelling. And here we can actually drop down and look at this picture of the TNT dome, because I don't know if I think it's overgrown too much to actually see it. But yeah, this is the area. People always, oh. I don't know how that happened. I dragged that from the comment section of my YouTube video. Anyway, people. Oh, there we go. And I can see how driving down through here at night would be spooky AF. And these spots, by the looks of these parking spots, I don't know, this is, this is modern, this is 2023, and this stuff happened in the 1960s. But the nature of these spots for the local teenagers are going to be makeout spots, right? Each of these little parking spots, you drive down here at night. Oh, Joe and Barbara are in there. Gotta drive a little bit further. Oh, there's Ted and Dave making out. Oh, gotta drive down further. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna make out in this spot right here. And then you find out the spot you picked to make out in is right by, where'd it go? Did I lose it? Where'd the TNT dome go? It was right by the TNT dome. Boom. You're roasted. Mothman flies out. Mothman flies out. And you get scared. But let's go back to the video, because we haven't even got to the Scarberry report yet.
On November 1st, outside the National Guard Armory on the northern edge of Point Pleasant, facing the nature preserve, a National Guardsman was on duty when he saw what he thought was a man in a brown suit perched on a tree limb beyond a high fence. The guard then determined that the figure belonged to an extremely large bird, but when he returned to see it later, the thing was gone. The next night, on a rainy evening, Woodrow Derenberger was driving home along Interstate 77 when a dark, charcoal gray metallic-looking vehicle cut in front of him.
Ooh, hold on, we gotta...
It was shaped like an old-fashioned kerosene lamp chimney and was floating just above the ground. The vehicle slowed to a stop, forcing Derenberger to brake. Then a door slid open, and a
Okay.
heavily tanned man emerged and approached.
So this one, I actually want to drop a link because I actually covered the Indrid Cold case a while ago. This is actually, I meant to label, when I release this as a premiere. When I premiere this, it's going to be labeled as part of this Mothman Mothman Frequency, the Chronicles of Point Pleasant that I'm doing. So I have ideas about the TNT area. Anyway, we'll continue it on. But there's the link to my full response to Indrid Cold. But I'm gonna, if I can leap past that and not offend anybody. It's just a salesman speaks with spaceman.
After this, several other witnesses came forward to corroborate both the presence of the flying craft and the grinning man. Derenberger's farm and phone line were quickly flooded with unwanted attention, including threatening calls, and calls with nothing but odd beeps and electronic sounds. Derenberger experienced...
In the Mothman Prophecies, the movie The Mothman Prophecies is somewhat based on this.
experienced further telepathic exchanges, as well as physical meetings with Cold, who later revealed that his first name was Indrid, and that he came from another planet. Even Derenberger's psychiatrist reported having telepathic contact with Cold in December 1966.
So Cold is a mysterious figure that came out of a spacecraft, not even in Point Pleasant, so, yeah.
On November 12th, Kenneth Duncan was digging a grave with 4 other men in a cemetery southeast of Point Pleasant when he heard a rustling in the treetops, then saw a brown flying man gliding through the trees for about a minute. Another unusual sighting took place northeast of Point Pleasant on November 14th. After 10:30 p.m., farmer Merle Partridge and his wife were watching their television when it began to emit a loud noise that Merle likened to a high-pitched generator winding up. The couple's German Shepherd began howling.
You know, nobody stole your TV back in those days. It weighed about like 200 pounds.
Howling from the porch before the TV's tube exploded and shattered glass on the floor. Grabbing a flashlight and gun, Merle got out to the porch to see the dog run towards the barn. At that point, Merle, his...
So, let me check in here with the chat real quick. Moths have the same kind of long, stringy, proboscis tongues that butterflies, don't they? Yeah, they do. When they eat, some moths don't even have mouths. Butterflies are a group of daytime moths. It's kind of funny because moths evolved at night, it's hard to describe the relationship between the two because they're so interlaced. There's some nighttime butterflies too, and some daytime moths that re-evolved back to live in the daytime, but they all do some form of pollination or something of that nature. They're important animals. People are scared of them. I don't know why. Let's see here. Oh, I've been caught more. Oh, in the parking spots, I bet. Audio is real low on the video. Okay, I can fix that, I think. Yeah. Thank you for letting me know, Dave. Ember, does a mummy count as a cryptid? Because they come from crypts. Yeah, I mean, well... When it comes to cryptids, it usually has to be an animal, though. A person. If it's a person, it's usually not. But, I mean, Mothman is part man. Some of them are closer to man than others. But humanoid entities would usually be called like an ET or an alien instead of a cryptid. Or interdimensional travel or something like that. Yeah.
His wife and at least one of their sons saw 2 silent circling red lights that disappeared after a few minutes. The dog never returned. In an interview decades later, Merle clarified that what he saw was mechanical and electrical in nature, despite an earlier reporter calling them eyes. The first sighting of a cryptid to reach the media occurred on the night of November 15, 1966. Around 11 p.m., 2 young married couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Mallet were joyriding on back roads through the wildlife preserve.
Sorry, I had a cough there. We saw what those back roads looked like when we looked at the map, right? We saw that when you get down in there, it's pretty heavily wooded. And there's a stop blocking you from going there. I don't know if they could have, maybe they could have went down this way once upon a time, but it's not paved anymore.
After stopping close to the retired power plant, Steve noticed two large red eyes lit up by the car's headlights. Into their view came the outline of a creature with the body of a man and large wings like an angel folded around it. It was later estimated to be 6 to 7 feet, or about 2 meters tall. Captured by its hypnotic red eyes, the couples just stood there staring until the creature shuffled away. Then fear kicked in, and Roger started driving home. Upon turning a bend on Route 62, their headlights again lit up the winged creature, which took off straight into the air with just a single beat of its wings, and began to follow the vehicle. Roger quickly approached 100 miles per hour, or 160 kilometers per hour, but the gray figure kept pace until they reached the lights of Point Pleasant. Roger stopped the car when the group spotted a large dog dead on the side of the road. Just then, the creature emerged from nearby, jumped over the car, and staggered away. The group returned with police.
So that's pretty accurate to the report, but some of the language used, I don't know. They talk about it shuffling and stuff. That there's kind of hints to this being a bird, or especially an owl. Some people think that it was a sandhill crane, which is a large, tall bird that's endemic to the area but kind of rare, that have a red banding across their face above their beak. However, you would never describe what a sandhill crane does as shuffling. A sandhill crane normally would not have been active at this time of night. So I don't think so. I think it's an owl. I think what they initially saw was an owl sitting on a stump or a dead tree or a fence post. Something that elevated it up and it spread its wings in a threat posture. And I'm getting all ahead of myself.
But the dog's carcass was gone. Shortly after, however, police found the burnt remains of a dog elsewhere in the preserve. The 4 witnesses were separated at the Mason County Sheriff's Department to write depositions, and Roger Scarberry drew a sketch of the creature. Its leg muscles were human-like, though witnesses did not see knees, and they were unsure if the creature had any arms.
Wait, look at this right here. Okay, take note of this, okay? Everything you see on the screen right now. Mothman. Owl. Now remember, it's your dark. Great horned owl's eyes reflect red. And yeah, that's all you need to know. Dark, and these eyes reflecting red. Are you with me? Okay, good.
Witnesses could not distinguish fur, feathers, or whatever else covered its body, but it was a dark gray in color. The next day, local newspapers picked up the story, and by 9 p.m., the police received a call about another encounter with the creature from 3 witnesses at a home on the edge of the preserve. The day after that, a reporter with the Huntington Herald-Dispatch called this creature the Mothman, despite witnesses describing
it as a bird because, again, looks like that.
a creature that was more bird-like in appearance. There is no record of any witnesses describing the creature as moth-like. Rather, Birdman was the most frequently used descriptor, with Mothman only rising in popularity years after the events. As the weeks went by, the story of the Birdman spread beyond Point Pleasant, and more witnesses came forward in the surrounding regions. Mary Heyer, the Point Pleasant reporter for the Athens Messenger, began collecting stories. Ufologist Gray Barker, who had previously investigated the Flatwoods Monster of 1952.
Also, the Flatwood Monster of 1952. Let me see here. I got that one as well. Also very owlish. Also very much like an owl. Not an owl even doing a threat pose, just an owl sitting in the tree.
Came to town in late November, and New York journalist and anomalist John Keel arrived in December. The three investigators quickly developed a working relationship.
I want to be an anomalist. I'm a cryptozoologist. Can I also be an anomalist? What all do I need to do? Just go to school to be for journalism? And then be... Yeah, and then I can be the enemy of Trump, too, because I'll be the media. I should go to school for journalism.
While descriptions of the Birdman varied, most witnesses said that it was 6 to 7 feet tall, with a 10 to 12 foot wingspan, or 2 meters tall with a 3 to 3.5 meter wingspan.
Which is, again, scared kids seeing this. People are already in a frightened state. Even the baby owls do this threat pose. It's not... I'm just leaving this minimized because I keep pulling up new pictures of owls doing this. Even the babies will do that. They say, stay away from me, I'm big and scary, because they put up their wings. But that's just a little angry, a little not angry, a little scared fluff ball. It's not going to hurt you.
Face was rarely seen but for the eyes. Those who reported seeing red eyes said that they were especially captivating or hypnotic. Some witnesses described the creature leaping straight up from the ground, and though it flew around like a soaring bird, it was very rarely seen to flap its wings. You
notice how little they're mentioning the legs, right? Mothman's legs are kind of left ambiguous. Were they? 'Cause the legs are the only thing here that says this isn't an owl, right? Like if you chop the legs off of this, if you didn't have this extra 3 feet of legs hanging down, and I don't know that any of the reports describe legs, at least not in any discernible way,
if at all. Most witnesses said that the creature was totally silent, though a few claimed that it made a squeaking sound. Many of the later encounters involved the creature pursuing vehicles at high speeds.
Not on foot.
Thomas Eerie saw a huge bird.
It's making it like it's running. Look, they're like giving it characteristics that weren't even reported. It didn't pursue vehicles on foot. It flew. It was an owl. Oh my goodness.
Flying alongside his car without ever flapping its wings, while Faye DeWitt Laporte saw a creature running alongside her vehicle. Keel estimated
maybe somebody did see maybe somebody did see it running. My mistake. Whoever saw it running. That's weird. Yeah. Hey, Steph. Good to see ya. Jer's here too, and Ember. We got lots of cool people that have popped in here lately. So, if I missed you and didn't get you on a good morning before the start of the show, good morning now, AR. Yeah, there's quite a few of y'all that I've missed.
100 witnesses cited this type of creature over the winter of 66 and 67.
High strangeness. There we go.
The Birdmen weren't the only strange things seen in the sky. Keel found dozens of UFO witnesses across the Ohio River Valley, and after Mary Heyer and other papers began publishing their stories, the region's news teams received up to 20 reports each day. Keel also discovered multiple UFO witnesses who had sightings earlier in the year, but hadn't bothered to report.
This is the modern day view of Point Pleasant. There's another bridge over here that goes across to Henderson. This is the bridge, I believe, that replaced the Silver Line Bridge. And I don't know what those factories barking up steam over there are.
Them. The witnesses included Hire herself, who had seen a perfectly round object shining in the sky that summer while driving along the Ohio River. The witnesses to the Birdman sighting on November 16th had seen a large red light flying above them on their drive to the house, and several more saw the same thing from other vantage points.
You know, it's been speculated that this was a military psyop.
Like the Birdmen, UFOs were often seen following cars. For example, on March 5th, 1967, Bo Schertzer and a nurse were driving along the Ohio River in a Red Cross bloodmobile when a bright white UFO appeared and kept pace with their truck. The craft even extended two arms towards them, seemingly to pincer them, before another vehicle approached on the highway and the UFO flew away.
So, yeah, this is the connection with Mothman and UFOs. Bigfoot has the same kind of reporting, because you get the population in this mind state where everything seems potentially anomalous if you see it fleetingly. So, all of a sudden, you know, men in suits at the grocery store are suspicious, and a balloon in the sky is sus. Just the way that's the way mass hysteria works. Now, my personal pet theory on this was that the TNT area was producing some waves of infrasound. And I was trying to look up some details to see if anybody else had proposed this, and I found this really weird blog post on Above Top Secret, and I want to read it to you guys, and then we'll go back to the video, because it's just kind of funny. Whether this should have been posted in Skunkworks forum was a question. I don't know what that means, but since it deals with a crypto legend, I'll drop it here. I've been mulling over the Mothman this past week or so. There have been articles and researchers attributing the creature to a misunderstood barn owl. I think the word would be misidentified barn owl, but I'll let it slide. This is just a blog post. Dismissing the Silver Bridge collapse as nothing more than a coincidence. Yeah, certainly. Certainly seems like a coincidence. It's far from the TNT area in general, and yeah. Others have pointed to the possibility that the entire Mothman experience was a psyop involving a laboratory-modified creature released to gauge the reaction of the residents of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, along with a few other secret select locations and control groups. I have no problem with these theories, but there is another possibility that seems to not have been discussed in depth. Mothman, Project Brown Owl. The military government has been shown to have few boundaries when it comes from testing various novel concepts to weaponize. MK Ultra is a prime example, but back in the 1960s and 70s, technology was developing at a breakneck pace as various militaries around the globe raced to utilize the most efficient way to gain an edge on the battlefield. An interesting concept would have been to weaponize infrasound, sound below the low-end threshold of human hearing, typically below 20 hertz, which has been shown to have an effect on human perception ranging from discomfort and awe to hallucinations and panic attacks. Yeah, but there's no record of anything called Project Brown Owl. Which, yeah, no. He goes in here and says infrasound has resulted in a large amount of interest within the creation of NLW. It is apparent that given the technical depth of that infrasound can be applied to within weaponry, a very in-depth analysis of each device would be required. Project Brown Owl, a military psyop meant to test the effects of infrasound on a small population, would have utilized large barn owls, the largest specimens they could find. The combination of the psychological effect of the infrasound and the sightings of the extra large owls would combine to cause a widespread panic and awe among the residents of the town involved in the operation. They released them around towns like Point Pleasant, West Virginia, while operating the subwoofer cable of producing high decibel infrasound. Where would these bass blasting machines have been housed or hidden? The ideal spot happens to be near or within the place Mothman was, by some rumored to have lived. Yeah, talking about the TNT area, which we just looked at. Infrasound perhaps was not unlike a Tesla's awesome... Okay, I'm done with this. This guy's a nut, and this stuff is nutty, but... yeah, he goes on and on about it, but it made me think, do I sound nutty when I suggest that maybe there was some infrasound from the... So, let Bree be clear. I'm not above saying the government was testing weapons on the population of West Virginia. That they were testing infrasound weapons. I don't think that they were doing it with owls, though. I think owl involvement was probably just a byproduct of that being what the first person, a group of people that was affected by this, the teenagers in the TNT area, experienced. But again, I'm not above saying the military did this. They don't need to, though. If there's something in the design, in the layout of the TNT area, or the Silver Bridge itself for that matter, that could cause an infrasound reaction to make people hallucinate, that's definitely a possibility. But we will go on. Well, let's see here. All right, back to the video. Sorry about the detour.
One case, a woman saw a 7-foot or 2-meter tall red-eyed gray man-like figure fly over her car. And for the following 2 weeks, her eyes were swollen with conjunctivitis. A number of witnesses had multiple experiences. During the summer of '67, months after their first encounter, Merle Partridge claims that he and his family were relaxing around their swimming pool when the entire sky blacked out and an enormous mechanical UFO appeared with many portholes and rivets. The Partridge family also received phone calls with odd beeping sounds and
the Partridge family, not to be confused with the Brady Bunch, they often are,
experienced poltergeist activity in the house. The Lilly family had many sightings of silent colored UFOs over their home that coincided with interference on the TV. Later, they heard cabinet doors slam in the night and other unexplained...
So, I mean, I am going to have to revisit a lot of this stuff when I talk about contactees here. I've talked about contactees before. I've talked about alien implants. How long ago was that we did the alien implants episode? Let me look back. Let me have a look back. Alien implants. Oh, November 11th, 2022. So it was just about, it was just a year and a month ago. Let me drop that link too. Man, I'm doing a lot of callbacks. A lot of callbacks on this episode. So if you want to see me talk about alien implants after the show, you can go here. All right, let's go on.
Sounds. Mary Heyer, John Keel, and other witnesses received calls clogged with crazy beeps and buzzes, or odd voices that one person described as metallic. There were also several cases of horses, dogs...
It was just R2 asking for directions to the Dagobah system.
...dogs and cows disappearing or being discovered dead in unusual circumstances. Keel personally examined carcasses with no trace of blood, and what looked to be surgical-like incisions in their throats.
So, cattle mutilation, another topic I've covered. Good grief. What a throwback episode this one is. Let's see, cattle. Yep, and that was November 18th. So these episodes were like back to back. So, oop, that's playing music. There we go. All right, let me drop this one for you guys too. These are topics I'll probably have to revisit, but there we go. Let's do that one there. All right.
Mothman researcher Jeff Wamsley spoke to a Point Pleasant resident by the name of Lawrence Gray, who claimed that in August, months before the first sightings in November, he saw a dark winged creature in his bedroom that he believed to be the devil. As they stared at each other, Gray tried to speak but couldn't. But when he turned his thoughts to biblical scripture, the creature gradually evaporated.
So that's called sleep paralysis. And yeah, if saying like the Lord's Prayer or something is a good way for you to feel comfort during an episode of sleep paralysis, more power to you. I have experienced sleep paralysis myself. It's terrifying. So there's other things you can do as well to convince yourself that it's a dream. A lot of the times what I do if I see a figure when I'm in sleep paralysis is I'll try to mutate it with my mind, like change its shape, because you can do that. Well, what I do to it is a thing called that I call it my brain donating it. I'll make it get a hole and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And that distracts it from me. That's what I did with my sleep paralysis demon.
Many witnesses also had unusual interactions with men with tanned skin and Asian or Native American looking facial features. Some locals reported people with long hair and dark East Asian faces crossing their property late at night.
Were they just like enthusiasts? It seems like they're probably like young Mothman enthusiasts. Like people, the woo culture tends to flock to things like this. They become really important to them. I almost forgot. I meant to change my lighting for the Mothman segment. There we go. Now I got red eyes. There we go. Is that better now? It looks like I'm in Mothman's eyes. We'll switch it off when I get to the next segment.
The men were seen wearing bright reflective clothes, while the women wore ankle-length dresses, all before the hippie movement of the late 1960s. Other witnesses saw men...
I don't think that 67 is before the hippie movement. I don't think so. Let me see. Hippie movement. Let's get a date for it. This says 67, so this might have been early aspects of the hippie movement. 67. Even some people citing as early as 63, but that's in California. Not to say people wouldn't travel from California to see the Mothman, man. Have that experience.
Men that were dressed out of place, often in black suits, and that frequently arrived in dark, older model cars in pristine...
When I think of the 1950s, I think all the men were walking around like this. Whenever I see old photos of like downtown regions where people have businesses and stuff, in the business district, I always think of guys dressed exactly like this walking around. So I don't know why they're acting like it was out of place. They had put sunglasses on here, and obviously you got like the Blues Brothers, but...
condition. Mothman witness Marcella Bennett was nearly driven off the road by a man in a red car wearing a bushy wig. Heyer had a similar encounter with 3 men in a black Cadillac. Connie Carpenter, the witness who developed conjunctivitis, was later almost pulled into a 49 Buick by a man in black.
Ooh, 49 Buick. That's a beautiful car. Look at that. Boom. What are those? Hespericals. It's insectoid. That's why I like it. It's a bug. A bug car. Back when we used to design our cars to actually look like insects. Why can't we get back to this?
Carpenter's home was also...
Instead we get stupid stuff like the Cybertruck, which looks like it was designed by the same people who tried to make the cardboard stuff to use your Nintendo Switch with. Like, that's what the Cybertruck looks like.
Also visited by a strange man, and for 2 weeks after, objects turned up in odd places, and pictures fell from the walls. Police were alerted to 3 very tall and heavily tanned men knocking on doors around Point Pleasant late at night, supposedly selling magazine subscriptions. Others said that they were census takers. Others just asked for a glass of water, which Keel noted was an old fairy trick reported in the Middle Ages.
Asking for a glass of water is an old fairy trick. It's also what the bug asked for when it landed in Men in Black. So, yeah, sugar water specifically.
A woman posing as Keel's secretary also interviewed people whom Keel had previously spoken with. Hire said that 2 nearly identical men in black overcoats visited her office in December '67 and asked her what she would do if someone ordered her to stop writing about flying saucers. Later,
Yeah, so Savage Minnow asks, so is Mothman related to Chupacabra? The demonic blood draining and stuff sounds similar. Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's the same type of hysteria. Check my Discord. Okay, Sumami, let me see here. Oh my, yeah. Let's get that its own image. I'm gonna share this. Oh, let's maybe zoom. Oh, that's too big. Hold on. Let me share it this way. Yeah, here we go. And we'll get a quick detour to Gas and Chuckles. Here we go. Got the banana, Mr. Banana Man. He seems really happy about it. Love it. All right, there's back to our owl.
Later that same day, another similar man came in to ask the same question, claiming to be a UFO researcher. The following day, Linda Scarberry and her family were visited by a man who was interested in Keel's relationship to Hire, and who asked her the same unusual question. 2 men in black posing as salesmen questioned people in Woodrow Derenberger's town about his roadside encounter. Derenberger also had several visits from similar men. His house was ransacked, and his writings and letters disappeared.
This is all mostly based on what Keel reported. So, I mean, and Keel let people self-report on their interactions with supernatural entities. That's the way his reporting went, kind of like Deborah Hatswell is today.
Keel also experienced mail that went undelivered, or had obviously been opened, and plenty of strange phone calls and sounds suggesting that his line was tapped. As sightings of bird-like men and UFOs declined in 1967, Keel received phone calls from contacts who claimed to be other beings, or to channel some non-human intelligence. Many of these contacts offered predictions for the near future, some of which were accurate, in whole or in part. Contacts warned of impending disaster on the Ohio River, implying that a factory would explode.
Yeah, implying that a factory would explode, but is that what happens?
But the most impactful precognition came from Hire, who related to Keel a nightmare she'd had of people drowning in the river, with Christmas presents floating around them.
Yeah, this right here.
Other locals also told Keel and Hire of their feelings of unease. On December 15th, 1967, one of the traffic lights was out next to the Silver Bridge connecting Point Pleasant to Canaga, Ohio. The 700-foot suspension bridge was packed with vehicles, and around 5 p.m., a corroded eye-bar failed, causing the bridge to collapse in a catastrophic event that took 46 lives and injured 9 others. Some of the deceased were witnesses to UFOs. Mentions of UFOs and birdmen.
Well, I mean, that's just statistics, though, that while you have this mass hysteria going on in the town, that you're going to have some of the, any sample you take of a group of people from the town and the surrounding area is going to include some of those people. So, I mean, that's interesting, though.
Immediately dropped from the media in the wake of the disaster, but sightings continued. Years later, reports of birdmen...
That's today's paper. Look, Saturday, December 16th, 1967, and not 2023, though.
UFOs and men in black seen around the bridge that night began to emerge again, but these are hard to verify. However, Keel reports that the Lilly family spotted 12 birdmen flying south from the wildlife preserve towards Point Pleasant on the day of the bridge's collapse. Additionally, Mary Heyer informed Keel that a woman who lived by the bridge witnessed 2 men dressed in black pants and checkered coats climbing it 2 days prior to the collapse. In hindsight,
That's kind of weird. Why are men climbing on the bridge? That is weird. I don't know if people are just trying to get in the newspaper or whatnot. I don't know, but...
many viewed the Birdman sightings and other strange phenomena as negative omens, preceding the bridge's collapse.
Well, it sounded like the bridge's collapse was pretty self-explanatory, though. The traffic light went out, forcing the bridge to carry a load that it hadn't carried before, or at least hadn't carried in a long, long time, and it buckled under the strain.
In 1970, Gray Barker published a creative account of events in the Silver Bridge, and 5 years later, John Keel published his own account in the Mothman Prophecies. Since then, there have been several more books and documentaries on the topic.
Yeah.
The iconic, if misnamed, cryptid is now a well-known archetype of paranormal fiction, made popular by the loose adaptation of Keel's work to film in 2002's The Mothman Prophecies.
Not like Laura Linney.
Before this film, the anomalous events weren't publicly acknowledged in the Point Pleasant area. There were no visible signs, monuments, or tourist shops, for example, though the town has since embraced the Mothman legacy.
Most small towns are doing that. If they have a monster legacy to carry, they are leaning into it because the interstate doesn't go through small towns. So people don't pass through them anymore and they die. Like what they talk about in the movie Cars, in the cartoon animated movie Cars, is a real thing that happens to these small towns. I know because I grew up in one. I watched the main street die. I watched it going from having 30 shops to having I think it has 6 shops now, and the rest of it's all abandoned storefronts that are brick buildings decaying like what you see here. But these buildings are better maintained because they got tourism bucks coming through the town.
The first annual Mothman Festival took place in 2002, and 3 years later, Mothman researcher and author Jeff Wamsley opened the Point Pleasant Mothman Museum.
My son got to go to Point Pleasant, Ohio, and took pictures taken with the statue, but he didn't get to go to the museum because it was closed when he was there.
Few have attempted to debunk the events of 1966 and 7. Soon after the first sightings, a West Virginia University professor speculated that the locals were seeing a large sandhill crane, though witnesses found this suggestion insulting.
I don't think it was a crane.
Joe Nickel believes that the birdmen were simply owls and other large birds, and
I'm with Joe.
Later, pranksters. But the Mothman sightings at Point Pleasant are far from the only reports of unusually large flying creatures in the area. Since at least the 18th century, North American natives such as the Alinni and Dakota have recorded encounters with the thunderbird, a flying creature large enough to carry away large animals. There are also several reports of flying humanoid...
The thunderbird in Native American mythology was the origins of where thunder came from. It's when it flapped its wings that it made thunder crash. And its piercing eyes were the lightning. It was a personification of nature.
It's from the 19th and early 20th centuries. For example, history professor James Gay Jones of Glenville State College claims to have collected information of sightings dating back to the early 1900s of a large bird covered in dark reddish feathers with the head of a man and a wingspan exceeding 12 feet, or 3.6 meters. These sightings...
Where did he get those measurements from? If he's talking about folklore and sighting earlier than... Okay. We'll have to look into that some other time. This folklore,
Persisted
guys.
into the 1940s, in the same counties that the Mothman appeared. Wamsley has documented birdmen sightings in every decade since the 1960s. As recently as 2017, the Chicago region experienced a wave of reports of winged birds, bats, and owls surpassing 6 feet tall, which occasionally sported bright red eyes. In one instance, a bright green UFO flew by just 5 minutes after the sighting. Whatever people saw in the late 60s seems to have been part of a much older and more enduring phenomenon.
So, from where I stand, I'm pretty convinced on the owl theory and maybe some infrasound stuff going on naturally. I wouldn't be opposed to some unnatural infrasound being involved as well. The bridge was unrelated to any of it, any of the sightings, in my opinion, though.
The so-called Mothman sightings of 1966 and 7 were part of a centuries-old tradition of seeing large birds and other flying creatures in the northeastern United States. But they also coincided with a range of other anomalous phenomena, including UFO sightings, poltergeist activity, animal mutilations, and encounters with men in black. We may never know why such an abundance of activity manifested in the Point Pleasant area in the late 1960s, but clearly, they were all related.
I also don't think this guy's sleep paralysis had anything to do with Mothman either. I think it's weird that they include that.
A level beyond mere geography.
All right, and that was Think Anomalous, Science and the Unexplained. I don't know how sciencey they were, really, though. I guess I try to leave it open-ended. I'm out here to crack the case, and they're just trying to leave it open and ambiguous. So that was our Mothman special for December 15th, remembrance of the collapse of the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And if you like what we're doing here, hit that like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notification when we're doing this live, because you could come and watch this live with me and these lovely people over here in the side chat. Just join us 9:30 live from the Hive every Saturday morning at Central Standard Time, and we'll be here. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time. All right, so to my live from the Hive audience, thank you so much for sticking with me through our first segment of the show, all about the Mothman and the Mothman sightings. I hope that this was a riveting journey for you, like it was for me. We do have more show to come, so don't go anywhere, okay? Because we got no. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to cut that because I have. No, we'll watch that later. Okay, we're just gonna move on. I have some sci-fails coming up for you in the next segment, so I'll see you guys over there.
one last thing. Some of you who've been around my channel for a while know that I gave a talk on Trans Day of Remembrance at a Methodist church, a local Methodist church. The pastor is an old friend of mine from sailing. She asked me if I would give this talk. Her child, I think eldest child, I think so. I think he is. But when I was working at a community sailing program, this child was uncomfortable. He felt out of place. His instructors were sort of and I tried really hard to make sure that kid was comfortable and felt good with the program. Kid got a little bit better. Both of his parents are sailors, like avid sailor types. They chartered my boat for a season, actually. And anyway, this kid goes to Sailmain and participates in that. Well, 4 years later, that kid told their parents that he was trans. And because his parents knew me, that kid survived. And because that kid knew me, that kid grew up to be a strong, healthy young man who's in college and loves sailing. So when we talk about holding the door open, it's for those kids that that otherwise will have their lives cut off, that will have that will not be able to live fully as who they are. And some of us of a certain generation remember what that felt like. And it took a lot of years to escape from that.
Pop, pop goes the weasel. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sci Fails. Today we have another wonderful video from Wild Synesia, I guess is how you say this, where they're going to talk about dragonfly versus wasp, who is the king of the insects, and I was not going to pass up the opportunity to do a response to it. So I'm going to drag you guys along with me on this one. So hang in for a fun ride. There we go. My eyelash keeps messing with me. All right. Let's see what they have to say here about dragonflies versus wasp. Well, so wasps tend to be more omnivorous. Dragonflies are obligate predators, so there's some difference there. It's like probably the same difference you'd see between like a bear and a tiger, though. So I'll give it to you. Okay. Let me restart it with the audio, though, because
Dragonfly versus wasp. Who is the supreme predator in the insect kingdom? In the realm of airborne wonders, dragonflies and wasps emerge as captivating aerial acrobatics, each possessing unique characteristics that contribute to their distinct ecological...
I like the dangerous Batman music in the background here. We're talking about... you could think if you put like a happy nature music to this. I'm gonna try that, and when I edit this, I'm gonna clip that part out and put different music to it and see if it sounds different, if it gives you a completely different feel.
Roles. These winged creatures, often misunderstood or overlooked, play crucial roles in maintaining the delicate balance of ecosystems. Join us on a journey into the skies as we unravel the secrets of dragonflies and wasps and finally find out who is the supreme predator. Who would win a fight? To make this fight even more interesting, of course we will choose some of the biggest species, respectively giant petal tail and the Asian giant hornet. What do they look like? Allow me to introduce you to the beautiful and amazing creature known as the giant petal tail. With a wingspan of 170 millimeters, 6.6 inches, the enormous petal tail is sometimes referred to as the world's largest dragonfly. This huge and...
Disputably, but yeah, just like it's going to be disputable that the Asian giant hornet, now called the northern giant hornet, is the largest wasp, because there's some tarantula hawks that definitely rival it and or surpass it in wingspan and length, but definitely not in body mass.
Strong dragonfly has a sleek black body with bright yellow patterns that provide a splash of color to its otherwise dark expanse.
Doesn't look yellow though.
Nonetheless, the enormous petal tail's sheer size and beautiful disposition make it a memorable sight in the insect world. The Asian giant hornet is the world's largest hornet species, with a wingspan of 76 millimeters, 3 inches, and a body length of up to 50 millimeters, 2 inches for the queen.
And they're one of my favorite animals, and I have one bought right back there that somebody, one of my Patreon patrons bought it for me as a gift. I think it was Greg Hartwig. But yeah, I actually have an Asian giant hornet right back here on my wall.
Queen. Workers and males have color patterns similar to the queen. They are, however, slightly smaller, measuring roughly 38 millimeters, 1.5 inches in length.
Still huge.
Asian giant hornet is black and yellow-orange in color, with a yellow-orange head, bean-shaped eyes, and a massive pair of dark orange,
I feel like I'm losing my headphones,
jaws or mandibles. Except for the broad orange basal segment, the antennae are dark. The thorax or center region of the insect body, to which the legs and wings are joined, is black, with a pair of orange or yellow spots near the back. Where do they live? The giant petal tail is found primarily in the tropical rainforests of northern Queensland, Australia, and inhabits lush, pristine environments characterized by high...
Someday I'll be able to go there and see that. See, what's going to happen is I'm going to fly to Australia. I'm going to fly into Perth, pick up Mark Reed, and because he's Australian, he obviously has a Jeep. So we're going to take his Jeep, and we're going to drive cross-country through Australia, and it's going to be like a buddy comedy movie. It's going to be amazing.
Humidity and abundant water sources. The habitat preference of the giant petal tail is closely tied to its life cycle, which includes an aquatic larval stage.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're giving us the stats of these animals like they're in a video game. I guess people do that to get to get young people interested in science. But yeah, it's a little.
These dragonflies typically choose breeding sites in rainforest streams and rivers, where their larvae can thrive in submerged vegetation and detritus. As nymphs, the giant petal tail undergoes a lengthy developmental phase underwater feeding on small aquatic organisms and molting several times before emerging as the striking adult form. Despite their impressive size and captivating beauty, the giant petaltail faces threats to its habitat due to deforestation and environmental degradation. The Asian gigantic hornet can be found across Eastern Asia, including Korea, Taiwan, China, Indochina, Nepal, India, and Sri Lanka, but it is most usually found in Japan's highlands. They can be found in higher altitude forests in both temperate and tropical environments where there is sufficient of food and enough nesting sites. A fertilized female...
Their nests are huge too. They can be like a meter across. They're massive.
Known as the queen, chooses a suitable sheltering location, such as the hollow trunk of a tree, and begins to build herself a nest out of chewed up bark. Wasp nests are made up of a sequence of solitary cells that work together to produce the well-known honeycomb effect. What do they eat? During its aquatic larval stage, the nymph of the giant petaltail is a voracious predator. It feeds on a variety of small aquatic organisms, including insect larvae, tadpoles, and even small fish. The nymph is well adapted to its underwater habitat, using its extendable lower lip, or labium, to snatch prey with remarkable speed and precision. Upon completion...
Yeah, so we got to remember, like, they both have these different stages of life where they can't interact with each other at all. You got the first stages of the wasp's life. It's in the nest, right? And it's a helpless larva. Literally helpless. It has someone has to bring it food. It just sits there and grows. There's a whole bunch of them all together. Whereas a dragonfly's baby starts off as a macro predator. A macro predator means it's aiming for big prey, and they can eat like fish and tadpoles, and a mosquito larva is one of the main things that they attack. And while they're in that form, they're definitely more impressive than the chubby little wasp larva that can't do anything besides eat what mama feeds it. So as far as interaction with each other, well, let's let the guy talk.
In its nymphal development, its diet shifts to aerial prey. Adult giant petaltails are skilled hunters and feed on a variety of flying insects, such as mosquitoes, flies, and other small insects found in their habitat. They are known for their speed and agility, making them formidable predators in the airspace of their rainforest habitat. Their remarkable flying skills, coupled with keen vision, enable them to locate, pursue, and capture their prey with remarkable efficiency. Asian giant hornets are carnivorous, eating mostly other insects. They eat a range of invertebrates, including beetles, wasps, and big insects, although they are most known for hunting honeybees. They can demolish entire bee colonies through a process known as hawking, making them a severe threat to honeybee populations. When hunting, the hornet deposits a pheromone marking on the bee colony, alerting other hornets to the location. The hornets then launch a coordinated attack, overwhelming the bees and...
So, I will say that you'd have a hard time getting a dragonfly and a giant hornet to battle each other because they are... the dragonfly is going to be too fast for the hornet to lock in on. You're going to have a hard time keeping the hornet from release, because the hornets naturally, they release a pheromone. They release all kinds of pheromones as things happen to them, as they go through their day. If they see around food, they release one. If they're threatened, they release one. If they're needing backup, they release one. And all the pheromones mean different things to their kinsmen. So in order for a giant hornet to perform optimally, they need to be part of a coalition. You aren't going to get a coalition of dragonflies. You just aren't, because they're solitary predators. And also on this note, for any existing species of dragonfly, the Asian giant hornet is probably way, way too big of a target prey item.
Stealing their larvae and pupae to feed their young. How do they behave? The reproductive behavior of the giant petal-tail is essential for the continuation of its species. Typically, these dragonflies engage in a complex and intriguing courtship ritual. The male giant petal-tail identifies a suitable territory, often near water sources, and vigorously defends it from other males. Once a female enters his territory, the male initiates a courtship display that involves aerial acrobatics and visual signals to attract the female's attention. The life cycle of the giant petal-tail is comprised of distinct stages: egg, nymph,
well, so is the lifestyle of the hornet, though.
And adult. When they reach maturity, the nymphs climb out of the water onto vegetation, where the adult dragonfly emerges after undergoing metamorphosis. Asian giant hornets are diurnal insects with gregarious behavior that live in colonies of up to 700 individuals. The colony is organized around a caste system that consists of the queen, males, drones, and female workers. The queen is the main reproducer, while the males and workers keep the colony alive. Pheromones, which can be used to indicate food sources or to notify colony members of danger, improve communication among Asian giant hornets. When a hornet discovers a prospective food supply, it emits a unique pheromone that attracts other hornets.
That's how they roll, yep.
Now let's find out who would win a fight.
The hornet, like every time. Sorry, giant dragonfly, but if you actually try to fight with a hornet, you're going to lose. Dragonfly's weapons as a aerial predator are for catching things mosquito-sized, right? They don't catch things much bigger than a housefly. I definitely think a yellow jacket could be eaten by a dragonfly. As a matter of fact, I got some pictures of a yellow jacket being munched on by a dragonfly somewhere around here. Let me see. Close that. But there's so much size disparity, though, is why you where the dragonfly would win there. They need that size disparity to make up for their tiny mouth parts. Otherwise, we don't have to speculate at all, because we end up with this. And that's what the dragonfly, that's what the wasp will do too. Its mission is to chew off all of the limbs of its opponent, and then it'll start eating them.
Dragonfly versus wasp. In the vast and diverse realm of the insect kingdom, battles for supremacy unfold daily, shaping the delicate balance of nature. The giant petal-tail and the Asian giant hornet stand out as giants in their respective orders. The petal-tail's superior aerial...
Woohoo! Vandalia! Welcome to the Creation Watchers, my friend. Speaking of Creation Watch, tomorrow, War on Christmas.
Capabilities may allow it to evade the ground-based attacks of the hornet, while the hornet's venomous sting poses a significant threat if it manages to make contact. Dragonflies catch more than 95% of their victims, making them the most precise and lethal hunter. However, this is not a hard and fast rule. Wasps are feared by some dragonflies. Actually, the insect world as a whole is terrified of wasps.
Yeah, they're the top dog in in the microcosm. Wasps are hard to overcome. There aren't very many inverts out there that can give them even a slight challenge. Maybe mantises, because of their camouflage, can ambush wasp and give them a good run for their money. But mantises are also not very efficient at combat. They're ambushed, so if they don't land that first strike, they usually fall to the sting.
Wasps are the lethal winged assassins of the bug world, and almost everything in this little universe is terrified of them. They are among the most dangerous species of insects. There are many wasp species which can easily kill dragonflies, and the worst among them are the true terrors of the insect world. However, I believe that a hornet is less likely to win against a dragonfly and feed on it. Dragonflies and hornets are sworn competitors in the food chain.
Not really. They target different groups of insects. Hornets, they can attack flying prey, but they'll also target things on the ground. Dragonflies almost exclusively target flying prey and taking like flies and mosquitoes out in the air.
Since they are both carnivores and prey on each other.
Bees can cover a lone wasp overheated. Yeah, they vibrate, and I think it gets up to like 110 degrees and kills the wasp. It's Japanese honeybees that do that. Is that why they call it hawking? Because they paralyze? Yeah, they just they paralyze their prey, and a lot of them drag it back home to feed the babies. Just got out of the physiotherapy. What did I miss? You missed the entire Mothman segment, Al. But you can go back and watch it later, or wait until it'll be on, CryptoCorner on Friday here in a couple weeks, so you can watch it then. It was fun. Right now we're looking at wasp versus dragonfly. This video that wants to just take animals and whittle them down to. I like better when they do these animal versus animals, and we get to talk about different facets of their interactions, like competing with each other for food and things like that, and how that comes into play. But they never talk about that. Oh, hey, Titan. I think ants were a contender, but of course, fairly closely related to wasps. Yeah, hymenopterans in general are usually top dog. Ants are just wasps that didn't mate with that stingray and the dragonfly. Yeah, well, ants have stings. Some ants have stings. Quite a few, actually. Yeah, Mothman, naked parkour. Yes, naked parkour is what it's all about. Let's see. My throat is sore and my voice is gone from working back drive-through in 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, if it's below freezing, eat at home. Hey, Vandalia, it sounds like maybe you might not be up for it, but I was going to see if you maybe wanted to come on with me tomorrow to do Creation Watch, and we're going to do War on Christmas. If you're down, let me know. Titan says, I can't always speak, Al, but I am always watching. The Lazy Cat said hello. For years, the 4 bugs were at peace, but everything changed when the Wasp Nation attacked, right? Exactly. The Wasp are the Fire Nation. The Dragonflies would be the Water Nation. Maybe the ants are the Earth Nation. And then who would be the Wind Nation then? Flies? Maybe the Dragonfly would be the Wind Nation. But then who would be the Water Nation? Giant water bugs? They don't really live in colonies, though. Well, neither do dragonflies.
Dragonflies are larger and without venom, whereas hornets contain poison and could easily sting a larger insect. However, the structure of a dragonfly's body and wings allow it to be more agile and fast than a hornet, making dragonflies among the fastest insects. If hornets were as quick and as fast as dragonflies, they would nearly always win. Also, dragonflies are able to use a position which make them look distant while they approach. This makes other insects fall into a tricky trap. We need to consider also, insects have weak eyesight.
No!
Generally, the dragonfly eats...
Bull crap! What did you just say, sir? Dragonflies have the most efficient eyesight in the animal kingdom. Are you daft? Have you tried to grab a fly out of the air? Compound eyes are superior in every way to camera eyes. Their wiring's just cluttered. Yeah. So what you can compare, compound eyes are like pixeled, and camera eyes are like a vector image. So, yeah.
The wasp, but there are some videos where the wasp hooked onto the dragonfly's abdomen or back, where the dragonfly could not reach, and kept stinging and stinging until the dragonfly died. Even while the huge hornet has a lethal sting, and the dragonfly, due to its size, is an obvious target, the shape of the dragonfly's body and wings allows it to be considerably faster and much more nimble, and dragonflies are among the fastest insects in the world. In the dynamic theater of...
But as we've seen, the wasps are still capable of killing them.
The insect kingdom, battles between giants like the giant petaltail and the Asian giant hornet are both fascinating and unpredictable. Each species has evolved unique adaptations that contribute to its survival and success in its respective ecological niche.
So, yeah, that didn't end with any kind of conclusion at all. So, interesting. So that was Wild, I don't know how you say this, Synesius? Wild Synesius? About, and I don't think that they're taking the dragonfly's capabilities, or I think they're overblowing the dragonfly's capabilities. I think it's if a dragonfly tries to attack a wasp, it ends up like this. So I'm not going to watch this whole thing, but that was it gets pretty gruesome. I do want to watch this real quick though, because this is the Mothman thing I didn't watch earlier, and this is beautiful artwork. I love this. I love this Mothman. That's the Jersey Devil. There's the Fresno Nightcrawler. Sees the fuzz on the ground. Yeah, that was super cute. Animation by Green Vanta. I do have Green Vanta's page here. I got lots of cool creature videos and animations. Dragons seem to be one of their favorite topics to do, but they got cryptids in here as well, and it looks like they got a series going on, so check them out. That's at Green Vanta. Nom nom nom. All right, so what did you guys think today of our wasp versus dragonfly. I think they focus too much on one-on-one battles and not enough on ecological competition. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat or in the chat on the premiere. Let me know what you think. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, beauties and bees, stick with me here. Don't go anywhere because we got more show to come. This is kind of the halfway point. More show to come. Don't go. There you go. There's your warning. Don't leave, because up next we got the cutest little alligator you ever seen, and you better fall in love immediately because it's adorable. I'll see you over there. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Strange Science. I'm your host, the bombastic Bumblebee, flying on 2 cups of coffee, and now I'm feeling pretty bouncy. So I'm excited to read this next little article to you. I always, whenever I see these come up in the feed, in my news feed, because I have Science, Life of Science, IFL Science, I have Science News. There's just a lot of different resources that are always feeding me good information. But whenever I see something come up like this, I have to talk about it, and you guys have to put up with it. Pinky white, leucistic alligator with blue eyes, born in Florida, is one of only 8 in the world. An extremely rare leucistic alligator born in Gatorland, Orlando, is the result of a genetic condition that leads to the partial loss of skin pigment, including a white translucent skin. An exceptionally rare light pink alligator has been born in Gatorland, a wildlife park in Orlando, Florida. The female alligator, or female American alligator, Alligator mississippiensis, has a genetic condition known as leucism. which results from a mutation in the genes that lead to reduced pigment in feathers, hair, or skin. Unlike albinism, which results in pink eyes and a complete loss of skin pigment, animals with leucism only have a partial loss of pigment, normally have blue eyes and white translucent or pale pink skin. The newborn reptile is believed to be one of only 8 leucistic alligators in the world. They are very occasionally born in the wild, but rarely survive beyond infancy due to health problems. Is this related to this? No, it's an ad. Because leucistic alligators lack normal skin pigmentation and thus sunburn easy, they cannot be exposed to sunlight for long periods and are at a high risk of sun damage and skin cancer. Leucistic alligators are also rarely seen as adults because the skin means they are easily spotted by predators. However, the baby alligator is in good health and currently measures 19.2 inches, that's 49 centimeters long, and weighs 3 ounces, 96 grams, park representative said. It was born to a mother who did not have leucism but carried the genetic mutation for the condition, and a leucistic father, because leucism is a recessive condition. 2 copies of the genetic variant, one of the mothers and one from the fathers, are needed for the condition to result in an observable trait. The leucistic alligator was born alongside a non-leucistic male who is the same size. Footage shared by Gatorland shows the pink leucistic alligator freshly emerged from its shell. The color of leucistic alligators may change over time because, unlike albino animals, they still have all the genes for pigmentation. A study published in 2020 detailed the extraordinary finding of 6 leucistic American alligator hatchlings in South Carolina in 2014. The animals were underweight when they were found, and 3 died shortly after being collected. The remaining 3 alligators lived in captivity for several years until their death. They weren't going to survive, lead author Thomas Rainwhite, a research scientist at Clemson University in South Carolina, said in a statement released in the Times, or released at the time, not in the Times. Good grief. They were all fairly emaciated, often having a congenital health defect, and are easily detected by predators. Rather than letting nature take its course, in this case, or having the hatchling possibly poached by reptile traders, we collected the alligators in an attempt to nurse them to better health and potentially capitalize on their value in wildlife education and conservation, he added. Yeah, do they got a link to the video? It says there's a video. I didn't even know that. Let me see. Let's just go back to this one and see. Gatorland. Leucistic. Leucistic. I can't remember how to spell it. Yeah, there it is. Here we go. Are you gonna... And I'll go to Gatorland's official... Well, it's long, though. That one's just gonna have stills.
Gatorland's been keeping a real big secret here. I've been chomping at the bit to tell y'all.
Boom, baby.
Here it is.
Oh, man, it's my turn.
Wow.
We've got, for the very first time anywhere in the world,
I'm not...
alligator. First...
Where's the... I want people to go to your video to watch the actual stuff. I just want to show a clip of the baby gator. Hatching. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'll watch that again. Oh, that's the dad and the mom. gosh, she's so adorable. Look at that little pinkiness. Oh my gosh, it's so pink. It's so pink. I hope it stays pink. The dad turned white. See? He's white as can be with speckles on his face. But she's pink. And I want her to stay pink. I want her to stay pink so bad. Look how cute she is. And she's pretty chill about being handled too, because probably because Mama carries them in their mouth. There's her brother. Ah, so cute. God, I want to die just looking at it. I just want to die. It's so adorable. I'm watching it again. How long do I have of her with her brother? Oh my God. It's so cute. Okay, I see you're talking. I just want to see the alligator. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Looks like, you know what it reminds me of? Reminds me of a fairy armadillo. A pink fairy armadillo. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Is that... Dang, he looks blind. So, I should probably go to Gatorland, huh? It seems like something the Hive should just do. Anyway, that was our little venture into strange science. At Gatorland, I believe they do a lot of stuff for like conservation and stuff. I don't think they're necessarily as roadside attraction as they seem. It's like a little goofy, but I enjoy. Who am I to judge? I'm goofy as fuck. I'm wearing a Mothman t-shirt right now. I like Gatorland. Maybe there's a shadier side to Gatorland. I don't know. Maybe Sid Dwyer's gonna flip on him. I don't know. Sid Dwyer, he overturns anybody's fondness for pretty much any kind of zoological expose. If you don't know who Sid Dwyer is, I'll put the link in the or I'll link the description. Yeah. Anyhow, got more to come though. Got one more section because you all know we wrapped the show up with Bree's Bestiary. So I will see you guys over in Bree's Bestiary.
Yo, VIPs, let's wick it. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, don't know. Turn off the light. I glow to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a trunk like a candle. Dance, bum rush, speaking that boom. Killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deathbed. When I play it on melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it. Better gain weight. Better hit bulls like a kid don't play. If it was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Vanilla ice, ice, baby. Well, now that the party is jumping with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping, quick to the point, no faking, cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, burning them. We're not quick and nimble. Go crazy when I hear a cymbal. I hot top with the boost up gimbo on a roll. Time to go solo, rolling in my 5.0. Rack top down with my hair can blow. Girl is on standby, waving just to say hi. Did you stop? No, I just drove. I kept on pursuing to the next stop, busting left. Headed in the next block was dead. Yo, I continue to A1A. Beachfront Avenue. Girls were hot, wearing less than bikinis. Rock man lovers. driving Lamborghini's jealous. Cause I'm out getting my shade with a gauge of vanilla with a 9 ready for the jumps off the wall. Jumps at the deal cause I'm full of 8-ball gunshots. Ranged out like a bell. Grabbed my 9, all I heard was shells falling on the concrete. Real fast, guns in the car. Stand on the gas, bumper to bumper. Avenues packed. Try to get away before the jackers jack. Police on the scene, know what I mean? They passed me up and running on the dope fiend. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby, vanilla ice, ice, baby, vanilla ice, ice, baby, vanilla ice, ice, baby. Well, take it cause I'm a lyrical poet. Miami's on the scene in case you didn't know it. My town created all the bass sound enough to shake and kick holes in the ground. My style's like a chemical spill. Feasible rhymes, shaking vision and feel. Conducted and formed is a hell of a concept. We make it hype. You wanna step with this? Shape lays on the fade, slice like a ninja cut, like a razor blade so fast. Other DJs say, damn, if a rhyme was a drug, I'd sell it by the gram. Keep a composure when it's time to get loose. Man, it dies by the mic while I kick my juice. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby, vanilla ice, ice, baby, vanilla ice, ice, baby.
Hello, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another episode of Bree's Bestiary, where I look at some famous animals, legendary and historic creatures that once roamed this great earth, and the folklore that has risen around them. Today is no different because do I have a whale of a tale for you. Porphyrios, the monstrous terror of the Roman world. What? A giant whale? Yes, indeed. Porphyrios is a alleged sperm whale, which we'll have to talk about this depiction here where it's got like Leviathan teeth, because sperm whales don't have teeth in their upper jaw. They have sockets. Teeth in the bottom, sockets in the top for snapping squishy things like squids. They're not as macro predatory as they once were. All right. It is said that we as humans know more about outer space than we do the ocean. As doubtful as that might seem, over 95% of the ocean floor has never been explored, which seems impossible for something so close to home. Obviously, we know that statistic is thrown around a lot, and it's kind of tenuous, depending on what you mean by explored. When creatures from the ocean floor and deep depths are caught or washed up onto the beach, they tend to look like monsters with strange flesh, big eyes, massive teeth, or a body that can't quite be described. One of the most well-known monstrous sea creatures is Moby Dick. But what if there was a vicious whale centuries before Melville put pen to paper? This is the tale of Porphyrios, the first account of a destructive whale. And unlike the white whale, Porphyrios was very real. Well, the white whale was very real too, and we'll talk about that as well. This is kind of a double header. was very real. Porphyrios, I think it's Porphyrios is how you say that. Porphyrios, long before Melville's published classic novel Moby Dick, or The Whale, in 1951, the people of Constantinople faced their own giant ship-swallowing whale. The name of the whale was Porphyrios, but the origins of the name is a bit of a mystery. Some scholars claim that the name was a derivative of the charioteer Porphyrios, who was popular during the Byzantine era. Other scholars believe the name comes from the mythological giant Porphyrion, who waged war against the Greeks during the Gigantomachy. In the 20th to 21st century, a new origins for the name had been suggested. Porphyrios might have come from the word porphyra, which describes a deep purple hue, imperial purple in Greek. Porphyrios might have been grayish purple or dark wine-colored skin, and his name came from his coloring, but some believe the name Porphyrios should be interpreted as Purple Boy, which is as cute name for a fearsome a beast. Purple Boy. Now I'm picturing him like Barney Purple. He'd be a perfume right here in the hive, though. I got my purple Mothman. Porphyrios is species has never been clear, but some descriptions of the whale's size, age, and bad attitude and coloring suggest he might have been a sperm whale. Sperm whales can be found in all oceans from the poles to the equator, wherever there is ice-free deep water. Not only are sperm whales huge, but they also have little to no natural predators, unless entire pods of killer whales set out looking for trouble, and can live for up to 70 years. However, there is a possibility that Porphyrios was not a sperm whale, but possibly an orca of unusual size. An unusually large orca might have been Porphyrios because of the natural behavior of the sperm whale. Sperm whales are not typically found in the Black Sea because the entrance is too shallow for sperm whales to reside. Orcas, however, are found in the Black Sea. The Byzantine historian, the information we know about Porphyrios comes from a 6th century Byzantine historian, Procopius. The whale can be found in both his history of wars and the secret history. Procopius stated that Porphyrios was a massive beast that measured 45 feet, that's 13.7 meters long, and 15 feet wide. How long is this video? 3 minutes? Okay. We'll do it. Show us what you got.
Sea monsters and lake monsters have captivated the human imagination for millennia. Everyone watching this has probably heard the famous Loch Ness Monster, said to live in a lake in Scotland, and everyone has probably heard of the Leviathan, a sea serpent which appears in the Bible, and which has connections to an older Canaanite monster, Lotan. The waters surrounding Constantinople in the middle of the 6th century were home to such a monster, one that we actually know existed. Its name was Porphyrios. Theodora, empress of the Roman Empire at this time and wife of the Emperor Justinian, did not care for Constantinople, much preferring the nearby town of Hiron, where a small palace was located. Getting there, however, was treacherous because it meant sailing along the Bosporus Strait and attracting the attention of Porphyrios. So what was this beast? Well, the vast majority of our information comes from the writings of Procopius, both his history of the wars and the secret history, who informs us that this was a whale which, for whatever reason, swam into the Mediterranean from the Atlantic and then made its home in the Black Sea and the Bosporus for about 50 years. It's estimated...
Which would be really weird for a sperm whale to do as well, because they generally feed on soft-bodied invertebrates in the deep depth of the ocean. And the depth of the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, I don't know if they provide I mean, obviously it was eating something. It lived there for 50 years, but it's surprising that it would do well in such an environment if it was a sperm whale.
To have been approximately 45 feet long and 15 feet wide, or about 14 meters long and 4.5 meters wide, and it is not entirely certain where the name of the whale came from. There is one idea which suggests that it was named after a famous charioteer who was active in the Hippodrome at this time, but the majority of historians support a different line of thought which argues that the name comes from the color of the whale, as well as the apparent headache that the beast caused for the Emperor Justinian, because it attacked ships indiscriminately, both military and civilian. Indeed, we might best understand Porphyrios as meaning something like Purple Boy, which, if nothing else, shows that humans have been giving nicknames to animals for a very long time.
Aww.
Even violent ones.
Purple Boy is such a cute nickname too. You got like today we have animals that are named like that. You got Deep Blue is the great white that they track. There's a great white called Deep Blue. There's other great whites with cute names too, and whales as well. Whale pods. Give them all nicknames.
And, apparently, much like the modern-day activity of whale watching, locals occasionally attempted to go and see it, except in these particular instances, there was every chance that the whale attacked the ship. There are two ideas for exactly what kind of animal Porphyrios was. In this video, I have been saying that it was a whale, because identifying Porphyrios as a sperm whale, due to the apparent size and temperament of the creature, makes the most sense, as well as the color of its skin. It would be possible to misidentify shades of gray as shades of purple, especially in the water, but you should be aware that there was another argument which says that Porphyrios was actually an orca of unusual size. After 50 years of terrorizing...
Of unusual size and unusual coloration, though. It would have to have, like, maybe melanism or something? A melanistic orca?
Roman ships in the waters of Constantinople, however, Porphyrios was finally beached when it decided to chase dolphins a bit too close to shore. Struggling to free itself only trapped the whale deeper in the sand and the mud of the coastline, and when it was discovered, locals came with knives, cleavers, rope, and axes to kill the beast that had wreaked havoc for so long. Finding that their blades did little damage and only enraged the whale, the people returned with horses and wagons and pulled Porphyrios deeper inland and cut the beast into pieces. Some of them apparently devoured the whale flesh immediately, while others saved the pieces for later. And with that, so ended the reign of terror of Porphyrios, tyrant of the Bosphorus, and the shipping lanes were now safe once more.
So, you think that something so famous would have, they would have preserved, like, maybe the teeth or something. That would have been cool. And then we could tell what it was today. We would know what we were looking at. When it comes to the identity, I'm pretty confident with the sperm whale ID. It just seems most likely, based on the sightings and behaviors. The other contender, the orca, I just don't see how the eye spots and stuff would not have been documented. It actually seems like something that you would expect. The only other suspect that I could think of would be a pilot whale. And they don't get nearly big enough. They're only 25 feet it would be a really big pilot whale, but they do match the coloration better. Now, pilot whales can be aggressive towards people. More so than orcas even. Can I show that video of the orca pulling the woman down? Let me see. Pilot whale, or not orca. Yeah, pilot whale attacks woman here. Let's watch this. It's just a few minutes long.
On May 17, 1992, Lisa Costello and her friend, cameraman Lee Tepley, learned firsthand that an encounter with any type of whale can be a frightening experience. They ran into trouble off the coast of Hawaii while filming a pod of pilot whales, creatures thought to be non-threatening.
It was on a Sunday, and it happened to be Mother's Day. And it was this really beautiful day. Water was very calm.
And there were porpoises going really fast, like they were on a hurry, they were on a mission, they were going somewhere. I shut the engines down and put them in neutral, and they turned around and came back to the boat.
Let's go slow. Little did they realize that within minutes, Lisa would be the victim of a terrifying encounter.
Oh my goodness.
They're very playful right
Spy
now.
hopping.
Hanging around it.
Ordinarily, pilot whales aren't that much interested in people, and I thought they would probably swim away.
I got in first, and Lee got in, and a large male came up to me and stopped, which is very unusual because normally they're aloof. I just kind of coasted towards him, and he still
Don't
wasn't
fucking.
moving.
It was obvious that there was...
This is my problem with Ocean Ramsey too. Y'all know Ocean Ramsey, the lady who swims with the great white. I actually have a video in my feed that I'm gonna delete, that I have to edit and remove her from, because, you know, after researching and listening to some people's opinions and ecologists and understanding how delicate sea life is, you shouldn't be touching them. I mean, it's one thing to get in the water with them, to touch them.
Kind of an interaction going on. The whale was looking at Lisa, and Lisa was looking at the whale.
So then I started petting him and massaging him.
I was rather concerned while she was doing that. I'd never seen anything like this happen before. And then the whale charged...
Is that a tracker on it?
And spun her around.
I didn't know what was going on. I was like really confused.
That was pretty
Oh
frightening.
shit! Yeah.
It didn't hurt. I didn't think he tried to hurt me, but it's like, well, what are you doing now?
I looked away for a second to check on my camera. When I looked back, Lisa and the whale were way down underwater.
And all of a sudden, I realized I couldn't breathe. And I looked up and I realized how deep I was. And I said, well, it's over. There's no way I'm going to survive this. Even if I let go at this point, I wasn't going to survive.
It stopped and held her in its mouth for quite a while. So I was really praying that the whale let her go at that point. I thought she was going to die.
I kept looking at him. I never forget his eyes. As long as I live, I kept looking in his eyes. And I remember taking my finger and running them around his teeth, but they weren't tight. So I really looked at him and I said, I'm going to die. And I just gave him this look. And then all of a sudden, about the last 15 feet, he bolts to the surface as though he knew I was going to die. And I was so close to death, I really feel like the extra 2 seconds that I got by him bolting me to the surface saved me.
Amazingly, the 18-foot whale releases Lisa from its
See, that's only 18 foot, and they're saying that Porphyrios was 45 feet. So I really don't think it's a pilot whale, a longfin pilot whale, but they do live in the Mediterranean. They are native to the Mediterranean. So a rogue large male. I don't
He is
know.
barely able to make it back to her boat.
I don't think anybody should ever pet a pilot whale or any other large marine animal. I think it's a very dangerous thing to do, as evidenced what happened to Lisa.
Lisa was fortunate. She lived to tell her terrifying story.
So, and then another contender would be like another species of the other species of finned whale, but they're even smaller. The short fin, I believe they're smaller. Let me see. Short finned pilot whale. Yeah, even smaller. Males 20 feet and females 16 feet. So they're even smaller. So I don't think Porphyrios could have been a orca. I don't think Porphyrios could have been a pilot whale either, though. Unless the size estimate was like greatly over. Maybe a false killer whale. A false killer whale, they only reach about 20 feet as well. So that's another cetacean that is a cetacean, I guess is the way you say it. I always grew up saying cetacean, but cetacean. A toothed whale that it could be. Anyhow, Thank you so much for sticking around through Bree's Bestiary. This week, a whale's tale. We do have another whale on the agenda for us. So one day we will do Mocha Dick, which is the whale that Moby Dick is partially based on, and we'll talk about the SX and all that good stuff. Not next week, but probably on a episode coming up soon. I also want to do the Beast of Guaduvan, which we don't know for sure what it was. It's very similar to this beastie here. It's like the land version of this. And but there's other mystery beasts that we can cover as well. We could talk about the Wahila on Bree's Bestiary, which was is a wolf, but yeah, they thought it was something different. I think we've talked about that on CryptoCorner a bit. Anyway, please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, and so for my Live from the Hive crowd, thank you so much for sticking around. I really do appreciate all your support, and that everybody sticks around and hangs out with me as I yammer on about these silly science topics and bad science galore. Tomorrow, like I said, we will be doing a creation watch. I don't know if I'll be doing it solo or if I'll have somebody tagging along with me. It doesn't matter. I'm doing War on Christmas, so it's going to be fun no matter how it unravels. So don't miss that. And yeah, so thank you so much. We'll see you around. Yeah, so thank you so much. We'll see you around. Yeah, so thank you so much.